Black humor, satire, and the living dead, what could be better? That's exactly why zombie comedies are so beloved. In this video, I'll dive into the history of the zombie movie genre, how it evolved into comedy, and highlight the best zombie comedies out there. The zombies we know today owe a lot to Haitian folklore. In those stories, zombies were reanimated corpses brought back by voodoo sorcerers for sinister purposes. These early ideas of zombies were often tied to themes of slavery and exploitation, reflecting fears of losing control over one's body and will. The first zombie movie, arguably, was the 1932 American horror film White Zombie, not yet about the living dead as we think of them, but about victims of voodoo sorcerers. The film was a phenomenal success. Made on a budget of $50,000, it raked in 160 times that amount, $8 million. It was a straight-up horror film, yet it already had some comedic elements woven in.
Zombies? Yes, they are my servants.
For the next 30 years, zombie movies were rare and featured slow, clumsy victims of magic. That changed in 1968 with George Romero's first zombie film, Night of the Living Dead. In 1978, Dawn of the Dead followed. Romero reinvented the zombie, making them fast, aggressive, and flesh-hungry. He moved away from mystical roots. Zombies were no longer products of magic, but victims of a virus. Romero's films had a massive impact on the genre. This is where zombies became mindless cannibals, only stoppable with a bullet to the head. Romero aimed for gritty realism to make his films as terrifying as possible. He used zombies as an allegory, and audiences and scholars have found themes of racism, feminism, and the tensions of the Vietnam and Cold Wars in his work. Most importantly, Romero completely redefined the zombie. Thanks to his films, zombies transformed from goofy monsters into horrifying creatures, posing an existential threat to humanity. They became pop culture icons.
Leave him be, we're going ourselves. That's ready to shoot. Careful. The trigger squeezes real easy, but the weapon will kick you good when it fires. Be ready for that.
Still possesses the power to send you back, but to us it is useless. The evil has a terrible hunger for the Necronomicon, and it will come here to get it.
We had a deal. You wanted the damn book, I got it for you. I did my part, now you send me back.
In 1981, Sam Raimi's iconic trilogy kicked off. Starting with the low-budget 1981 film, the franchise follows Ash Williams, played by Bruce Campbell, a young man who faces demonic forces in an abandoned cabin in the woods. Armed with a chainsaw and his trusty shotgun, Ash battles hordes of possessed dead while his friends fall one by one to the forces of evil. Each film in the trilogy is unique in its own way. The first Evil Dead is a dark, atmospheric horror film packed with creepy moments and inventive special effects. The second film leans more comedic, blending horror, action, and dark comedy. By the third film, Army of Darkness, released in 1992, it's a full-blown dark comedy. The trilogy had a massive impact on the horror genre, inspiring countless imitators and remakes.
Did exactly, they're just sort of rotting.
Nurse McTavish? Father Magruder? Your mother!
I don't know what to do, you know, I don't know how to stop it.
In 1992, Braindead, also known as Dead Alive, hit the screens, a legendary film by Peter Jackson. The New Zealand director took things even further, and in his signature style, crafted a unique, unforgettable movie on a modest $3 million budget. The film is disturbingly gross, when it comes to what's shown on screen, that is. Some scenes are downright revolting. 30 years ago, this must have felt insanely cool, and it's no wonder the film became a cult classic. Even today, the effects and makeup hold up impressively, and who knows how many tons of fake blood were used during filming. Creators claimed 400 liters just for the final scene. Watching Jackson's film can be tough, even for seasoned modern viewers. Yet, oddly enough, it's a blast to watch. It's got clever twists and hilarious moments. The level of violence, gore, and sheer madness is as high as it gets. Even 32 years later, no one has outdone Braindead in that regard. This is a very specific kind of movie. Before and during viewing, you'd better skip eating.
I think we hit something.
Or someone.
Are you alright? Come on, let's just go. Hello? He's gonna be dead either way. Ed, that's not the point.
Oh, thank God for that.
The next big milestone in zombie comedies was Shaun of the Dead by Edgar Wright and Simon Pegg. Wright directed, while Pegg co-wrote the script and starred in the lead role. This was the first film in the famous Cornetto trilogy. It's a movie with a great vibe and delightful British humor, following two buddies caught in the epicenter of a zombie apocalypse. Naturally, the film became an instant classic, earning an army of fans and hundreds of glowing reviews. Wright and Pegg drew inspiration from George Romero's work, and Romero himself was so impressed that he invited the Brits to play cameo roles as zombies in his film Land of the Dead. Watching Shaun is pure joy, packed with irony and genuinely awesome moments. There's just one catch: it lacks that trashy edge. Not that it needs it, but you kind of expect something wilder from the genre. That's hardly a criticism, though. It's just a really great comedy. Oddly enough, as a zombie comedy, it's not quite as strong as it is as a straight-up comedy.
Respektlose! Dies hier ist ein historischer Moment! Die Erweckung eines Untoten! Wenn dieser Testlauf funktioniert, dann werden wir nach Seattle fahren und Kurt Cobain zum Leben erwecken. Ist das nicht gefährlich?
Ach Quatsch, überhaupt nicht. Der gehorcht uns dann voll.
In 2004, the quirky German film Night of the Living Dorks came out, a zombie comedy in the vein of something like American Pie. The zombies in this movie return to the genre's roots, revisiting the long-forgotten theme of Haitian magic. The story follows three friends who accidentally become zombies, exploring what happens when average high schoolers gain superpowers, zombie superpowers. Sure, but the idea is the same. About 6 years later, the film Chronicle, which follows teens gaining superpowers, borrowed some of its plot ideas from this movie. The German film scope is, of course, much smaller than its Hollywood counterpart, but the plots are strikingly similar. Hollywood went for a thriller vibe, while this is pure comedy. It's packed with crude humor, most of it revolving around sex and genitals, with the rest touching on alcohol and drugs. The start of the film might feel a bit slow, but it quickly picks up the pace and hits a solid stride. Most importantly, Night of the Living Dorks is incredibly memorable.
Isn't it wonderful? Now we're not the only ones on the street without one.
2 years later, in 2006, Fido hit the screens, another unique take on the zombie genre. This time, the creators wrapped the zombie world in a boy and his story. Think robot, dog, horse, or, in this case, zombie. The film is set in a vividly atmospheric 1950s America. Humanity has just survived a zombie apocalypse and now lives side by side with domesticated zombies, kept as servants or even lovers. It's hard to call Fido a kid's movie because of the zombies, murders, and such, but at its core, it feels like one. Sure, it has some brutal, satirical scenes, but Fido is a remarkable piece of storytelling that touches on themes like the father-son bond, loneliness, and love for those who are different. Surprisingly, the film is warm and uplifting. It also stands out with its fairly well-known cast, including Carrie-Anne Moss, Trinity from The Matrix, in one of the lead roles. 2009 was a real treat for fans of the genre, with two great films hitting the screens.
Well, Mikey reckons the women outnumber the men 4-1.
Yes, they do, Neil. Yes, they do.
And obviously they're all gagging for it.
Obviously.
An entire village full of man-hungry women just waiting to jump the first band of desperados that rolls up from London.
First up is Doghouse, a British comedy about a group of middle-aged guys who head to a remote village for a getaway, where women outnumber men 4-1. The friends are stunned to find the village crawling with female zombies, while all the men are dead. In vibe and humor, it's very reminiscent of Shaun of the Dead. The film doesn't just poke fun at radical feminism, it also digs into men's consumerist attitudes toward women. There are plenty of characters, but each gets enough screen time to shine with their own distinct personality. No matter how cynical their jokes, you can't help but root for them.
That was my first brush with the plague of the 21st century. Remember mad cow disease? Well, mad cow became mad person, became mad zombie. It's a fast-acting virus that left you with a swollen brain, a raging fever, that made you hateful, violent, and gave you a really, really bad case of the munchies.
Then there's Zombieland, a movie set in a world overrun by zombies, where finding someone who doesn't eat human flesh is, at the very least, a challenge. When it came out in 2009, it was seriously cool. Fresh and inventive plot twists, sharp jokes, a solid story, and stellar visuals made it stand out. And, of course, it boasts 4 phenomenal actors in the lead roles: Woody Harrelson, Jesse Eisenberg, Abigail Breslin, and the incomparable Emma Stone. The sequel, though, fell a bit flat, no originality left, and the story felt pointless. It's still a great comedy set against a zombie apocalypse, but the first film set the bar too high. The original Zombieland also shone with its compelling characters, whose charm fizzled a bit by the sequel, and top-notch action. It's loaded with top-notch visual and verbal humor, with the opening sequence backed by Metallica's music and the Bill Murray cameo standing out as pure brilliance.
Bill Murray, you're a zombie?
In the 2010s, the zombie comedy genre kept evolving. In 2010, Isaac Marion released the novel Warm Bodies, which quickly became a bestseller and was adapted into a film. Warm Bodies isn't just a horror comedy, it's also a romance, reimagining Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet in a zombie setting. By genre standards, it's a full-on blockbuster with a $35 million budget and a star-studded cast. Nicholas Hoult and Teresa Palmer take the lead, playing fascinating and unconventional characters. The film has a great atmosphere and solid technical execution. It depicts a world overrun with zombies, but in a strikingly realistic way, as if a real zombie apocalypse had happened. There's no total desolation, governments haven't collapsed, and some semblance of normal life persists. Comedy aside, the portrayal of the zombie apocalypse is one of the most grounded in cinema. Plus, the main character is a zombie. Through the eyes of R. Holt's character, we see this world, and his emotions and experiences set the tone for the story.
I can tell when a girl needs her space. There's a lot of ways to get to know a person. Eating her dead boyfriend's brains is one of the more unorthodox methods, but
the 2014 film Life After Beth, starring Dane DeHaan and Aubrey Plaza, also took the romantic route.
Go out and have a little conversation and
No,
I think that's
Maury.
a wonderful idea.
You lied to me.
I never lied.
Why are you acting all weird?
I'm not acting weird. Stop playing dumb, Beth.
Oh,
I'm not
right,
playing
that is
dumb.
not
You're
the way to talk to
freaking
my
out.
daughter.
You know what? Fuck you.
Listen to me, Zach.
It wasn't a big hit, either at the box office or with audiences, but it brings something unique to the genre. For one, the zombies here aren't victims of a virus, but of voodoo magic. And here's the kicker: what do you do when you're a zombie who doesn't even know they're a zombie, genuinely believing you're just a regular person? What do you do when your beloved comes back to life after dying? Or as parents, how do you cope when your child returns from the grave? The film is very contained, without flashy humor or a barrage of jokes. The comedy stems from the overall messy situation and the fact that none of the characters have a clue how to handle it.
Can you please just tell us what the hell is going on?
I really need to wash out my face right now.
Please, now!
No, not until you tell us what's happening.
Wet nap. Anybody got a wet nap?
What the fuck do you think is happening? Everyone's eating each other.
Wait, like a...
Yes, like that.
That's not possible.
No, I think it's possible, Ben. A dead stripper just trying to eat my face.
Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse came out in 2015, and the title pretty much sums up the plot. Some mysterious infected person, carrying some mysterious virus, escapes from some mysterious lab, and now most of the residents of a small town are eagerly chowing down on the uninfected. The only hope for the survivors? A group of young guys trained as scouts. It's a cliche for the sake of a cliche, but the story needed some kind of setup. That's not the main draw here anyway. The film isn't exactly groundbreaking, but it does its job well enough within the genre. It's got plenty of solid jokes, with a couple that are outright hilarious. The makeup is decently done, while the special effects are deliberately cheesy. A big plus is the strong cast in the lead roles and a simple, relatable story, zombies aside, of course. The character interactions are a total win, thanks to the filmmakers. Among the notable actors, you've got Ty Sheridan, known as Cyclops from the X-Men reboot, and Logan Miller, who fans of the genre might recognize from The Walking Dead.
How does this concern our warrior daughters?
How can you be so tiresome? You know I mean for him to marry one of them.
Daughters do not dance well with masticated brains, Mrs. Bennett.
You, sir, have already put them at a decided social disadvantage by insisting they do their combat training in China as opposed to Japan.
Pride and Prejudice and Zombies is a parody of Jane Austen's classic story, set in a zombie apocalypse. It's a hilarious comedy and a true high-budget costume trash flick with stunning effects. This is one of the rare zombie films that doesn't take place in the present, but in the past. The story unfolds in an alternate 19th century England, where a plague is turning the dead into the undead, shattering any hope of a peaceful life for the locals. Amid the human struggle for survival, a romantic storyline follows the main heroine, played by the brilliant Lily James. Atmospheric, captivating, and seriously cool movie. Movie was a box office flop, barely recouping half its budget. And that's a shame cinema today could use more bold experiments like this. It's worth noting that the film is based on the novel of the same name by Seth Graham Smith.
出すんじゃないの？出るの？
出るっていうの。
だから本物をくれよ！恐怖に染まった本物の顔！なんで嘘になるか教えてやろうか！お前の人生が嘘ばっかりだから！嘘ついてばっかりだから！
One Cut of the Dead. Who said a zombie movie can't be like this? If you're looking for truly unique cinema, this is it. This 2017 Japanese gem follows a film crew shooting a zombie movie. It's a comedy that both mocks and celebrates the zombie genre while poking fun at the behind-the-scenes chaos of filmmaking. Shot in a single, unbroken take, the story follows a low-budget zombie film crew that suddenly faces an attack by real undead. It's tough to talk about this movie without spoiling anything, but it's arguably a masterpiece. With a budget of just $25,000, it raked in $28 million at the box office and earned rave reviews, results that are absolutely well-deserved. This is a film where you'll even want to watch the end credits.
そう、その顔だよ！ビンビンだぜ！こいつはやばい映画だ！
Hello, Miss Winston. Hello, Officer Minerva Morrison. Do call me Zelda.
Yeah, okay, sure. Have you been informed of the tragedy?
I have. Am I to understand that the remains will be brought to the Ever After funeral home for my preparations?
The dead don't die. This 2019 film had horror fans buzzing with high expectations. Directed by Jim Jarmusch, it boasts a star-studded cast: Adam Driver, Bill Murray, Tilda Swinton, Selena Gomez, Steve Buscemi, and even scored a Palme d'Or nomination at Cannes. The story unfolds in a small town where the local cemetery becomes a major headache for residents. Finding the film's strengths is a challenge, though they do exist. It captures the cozy vibe of small-town America, and there are flashes of humor here and there. The goal seems clear: a clever spoof of the horror genre with a side of satire on modern society. But it falls flat on every front. The absurdity doesn't quite land, the satire feels limp, and the staging is so unnatural that it's impossible to get immersed. Frankly, the movie is just plain boring. Even the powerhouse cast can't save it. The one shining exception, Tilda Swinton, as always, is phenomenal. Her character, and everything tied to it, is the only thing this film nails perfectly.
How to play tag. Good. Right. Those funny-looking people out there are it.
How do I go backwards?
And we don't want to let the funny people touch us. Look, isn't she good at it? I need you to stick together in a line. So, quick sticks. Ready? Steady. Go!
Little Monsters. Little Monsters hit screens in 2019, offering yet another fresh take on the zombie showdown. The story follows a group of kids on a field trip who end up in an area infected with a zombie virus. Now, the adults in charge must not only save the children, but also convince them it's all just a game. The premise sounds grim, but a hefty dose of satire and dark humor turns this complex tale into something light and touching. The tagline, "The feel-good zombie comedy everyone's been waiting for," nails it perfectly. Despite its full-on R rating, the film feels sweet and heartwarming. Starring Alexander England and Lupita Nyong'o, it's made on a budget of about 2 cans of beer, so don't expect blockbuster scale or flashy effects.
I'm Daniel. This is Blake and Monica.
Hi.
We are the Zombie Squad. God damn it.
It's real. These are real dead people. And that's a real zombie. You killed him. I can't believe it.
I deliberately saved the best zombie comedy for last, at least in my totally subjective opinion. Dead Snow. This Norwegian duology of hilarious trash zombie flicks hit screens in 2009 and 2014. The second film is head and shoulders above the first, so that's the one we'll focus on, though the first is still worth a watch, even if it's not a must. Part 2 picks up the story from the first, following zombie Nazis and a group of students fiercely battling the undead. Beneath what seems like a tired setup, typical of countless teen slashers where only the monsters change, lies a genre gem. It's packed with stellar visual effects, wicked humor, sharp satire, and pure irreverence. Where else will you see zombie Nazis squaring off against zombie Red Army soldiers, or a scene where zombies siphon gas from a bus to a tank using another zombie's intestines? These are the films of Tommy Wirkola, a die-hard fan of the genre, and the works of George Romero and Sam Raimi. This movie is tailor-made for a fun night with friends and won't disappoint zombie fans. There's less gore and dismemberment than, say, Peter Jackson's Braindead, but still plenty to go around.